Women's Day is observed on the 8th of March every year. The day is celebrated as a focal point in the women's rights movement to create awareness among the people, bring attention to issues like gender equality, effects of gender bias, abuse against women. The list goes on and on. But a day before the International Women's Day, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres made a shocking revelation. It is regarding the rising gender inequality in the world. But is gender equality the only thing that women deserve at this hour? Or is there something more? Our next report gets you the complete story.
We're living in the 21st century. By now, the world was supposed to be a better place to live in, one where everyone gets equal chance and opportunity to grow. But not much has changed in the way society thinks. Equality is still a myth and discrimination is still prevalent. Historically, across the globe, women have suffered huge ill treatment to be at par with their opposite gender. Although with the passage of time, the situation was improving for women, with people voicing and fighting for their rights, creating awareness among citizens. But despite such efforts, according to the United Nations chief Antonio Guterres, decades of advances on women's rights are being wound back. The world is now hundreds of years away from achieving gender equality. Speaking to the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, Antonio Guterres said gender equality is vanishing before our eyes. He said we are 3 centuries away from achieving gender equality, citing high rates of maternal mortality, girls being forced into early marriage, and girls being kidnapped and assaulted for attending school as evidence. The UN chief believes the hope of achieving gender equality is growing more distant. If we look around the world, we can see various recent instances where women have been robbed of their rights and deserved opportunities. In Taliban-ruled Afghanistan, women and girls have been erased from public life. The regime has barred women and girls from universities and some schools, invalidated thousands of divorces, forcing women to go back and live with their abusive partners. While in Iran, there was a brutal crackdown on protests that broke out in mid-September following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, who was in police custody after she allegedly violated the country's conservative dress code for women. Or even in the most developed country of the world, the United States of America, where women's sexual and reproductive rights are being rolled back since the overturning of the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade ruling, where women had the constitutional right to choose whether to have an abortion or not. So now the question arises, what can you and I do to tackle this centuries-long battle? Well, to achieve gender equality, the most important thing which we can do as a society is ensure equal access to education, empower women in the workplace. As in most workplaces, there are more men than women in high-level positions. The gender pay gap also persists in many places, where men are generally paid more than their female counterparts for the same job profile. While another thing which needs to be done is to ensure the strengthening of legal rights. Domestic violence is still prevalent in many parts of the world. The World Health Organization estimates 1 in 3 of all women are subject to domestic violence at some point in their life. Meanwhile, many women have also experienced sexual harassment at some point in their lives. But gender equality is not an end in itself. It is an outcome of multiple forces working in unison. One of the prerequisites is gender equity. In other words, if gender equality is the end, gender equity is the means to it. But what does gender equity exactly mean? It is the fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs. This may include equal treatment or treatment that is different but is considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations and opportunities. When we talk about opportunity, we're talking about ensuring opportunity is not limited simply on the basis of gender. We're talking about correcting for gender biases so that economic outcomes improve for all. Basically, it strives to bring all the genders to an equal playing field, to facilitate equal opportunities for all genders, to overcome their historical and social disadvantages by ensuring fairness and justice in the distribution of resources to all genders.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.